Hi there. Welcome to the first chapter of SAP OSDB migration course. In this lesson, we will go through some basic concepts on SAP System Copy. After completing this lesson, you will be able to answer some basic questions like: what does it mean by SAP System Copy? What are the types of system copy and how SAP defines homogeneous and heterogeneous system copy? Understanding the differences between the two is important to get the right kind of support from SAP and ensure that system remains under support after copy as well. Why customers choose to perform system copy and what all services are offered by SAP to facilitate system copy. We will also understand who is allowed to perform a system copy and what are some of the prerequisites that must be fulfilled. And lastly, what kind of issues can arise if system copy is not performed as per SAP guidelines. Okay, so what is system copy? System copy is a generic term that refers to the process of copying one SAP system to another SAP system. For example, for various reasons, which we will study in later slides, you may be asked to copy a production system to a quality assurance system, or maybe to a test system. Now, depending on the requirements, while performing system copy, customer can choose to have same operating system and database on the target SAP system as that on the source SAP system, or either one or both operating system and database can differ. So what are the possibilities? There are 4 possible options. Let's have a look at them. We can have same operating system and database on target as that on source. Here we have OS1 and DB1 on both target and source SAP systems. We can choose to have a different operating system on target, but same database as on source. In this example, we have OS1 as operating system on source and OS2 on target, but both source and target have DB1 as their database. We may also go to a different database, but same OS on target. And last possibility is to differ altogether from source by having both operating system and database different. Based on difference in operating system and database in target and source systems, system copy can be classified as homogeneous or heterogeneous. In the next few slides, we'll look at these differences. Let's look at the definition of homogeneous system copy now. SAP defines a system copy as homogeneous if operating system and database on target SAP system are same as that on the source SAP system, and their versions are either exactly same or successor of the source SAP system, without any consideration on the underlying software or hardware architecture. Does that sound confusing? No problem. Let's look at it in a different way. Keeping aside source and target system architecture, for example, whether source and target both are i386 or whether one is i386 while other is x64, it does not matter till the time SAP product is supported on the required platform. A system copy is called homogeneous system copy if one of the following 4 conditions are met. Source and target have same OS and database including their versions, as shown in the example. Both source and target are running on OS1 with version X and database DB1 with version M. Source and target have same OS including its version, while DB version on target is successor of source. In example provided, source and target have operating system as OS1 version X, while source has DB1 with version M as database. But target has successor version that is M plus N of database DB1. Source and target have same database including its version, while OS version on target is successor or source. Example provided here is self-explanatory. And finally, OS and DB both on target are successor of source, as shown in the example provided. Hope this is clear now. Okay, so let's look at some of the examples of homogeneous system copy to understand the concept in a better way. In all these examples, it is assumed that underlying SAP product is supported on combinations of operating systems and databases considered. In the first example, we have Windows 2008 and Oracle 11.203 on source system and exactly same OS and database including versions on the target system. In the second example, we have Windows 2008 and SQL Server 2008 on source system and exactly same OS and database on target system. But architecture has changed from x32 to x64 as OS and DB are same. So as per definition, this will still be treated as homogeneous system copy by SAP, even if the underlying architecture is different. In the third example, would you like to guess why this is a homogeneous system copy? Well, in this case, target OS, that is Windows 2012, is a successor of source, Windows 2008, while database is same on source and target. This will also be treated as homogeneous system copy by SAP, even though the architecture has changed from x64 to IA64. I hope you answered that correctly. To remind you the definition again, as a general rule of thumb, if OS and DB remains the same or are successor of source, irrespective of underlying hardware or software architecture, and with the assumption that combination is supported by SAP, this is termed as homogeneous system copy. So what is heterogeneous system copy then? SAP defines system copy as heterogeneous if both OS and database or either one of them differs between source and target SAP systems. For example, if you have Windows 2008 on source, while target has Red Hat Enterprise Linux, this will be treated as a heterogeneous system copy. Depending on what is different on target, whether it's just the OS or just DB or both, heterogeneous system copy can be further classified as OS migration, where only the OS differs, DB migration, where only the DB differs, or OS-DB migration, where both OS and DB differ. Here are some examples of heterogeneous system copy to reinforce the terminology. In the first example, database is different between source and target. We have SQL Server on target while source has Oracle. By definition, this is heterogeneous system copy of type DB migration, as only the database is different between source and target. Second example will be categorized as OS-DB migration kind of heterogeneous system copy. Both OS and database are different between source and target. Can you guess now what will be the type of migration in third example? Well, that was easy. It's OS migration, as only OS has changed between target and source system. Who can perform a system copy? Well, there are no specific prerequisites for homogeneous system copy, and customer can perform it themselves using SAP-supported methods. SAP provides system copy guides and instructions via SAP notes on specific steps that needs to be performed for each supported OS and DB combinations. On the other hand, there are specific requirements from SAP to support any heterogeneous system copy initiative by the customer. Firstly, only an SAP-certified OS-DB migration consultant with expertise in both source and target operating system and database can perform the migration. Secondly, OS-DB Migration Check Service is a mandatory offering for production system migration. We will learn about this in the next slide. Keep in mind that this service is a must for all kind of production heterogeneous system migration. That is OS migration, DB migration and OS-DB migration. If these prerequisites are not met, SAP may charge to resolve any issues arising from the system migration. Next question comes, how does SAP support customers who want to perform OS-DB migration? Other than providing tools to perform system copy, SAP offers two services to its customers who want to perform OS-DB migration. The first one is the SAP OS-DB Migration Service. Under this offering, SAP, under a fixed price, provides consultants to do migration. That is, SAP takes responsibility to migrate customers' system. Second, SAP OS-DB Migration Check Service. This is a mandatory offering for any production heterogeneous system copy. Under this offering, SAP oversees the migration project while customer or customer designated vendor performs the actual migration. This service is performed in two parts. Once before migration on source system, which is called OSDB Migration Analysis Session, and once after the migration on target system, which is called OSDB Migration Verification Session. Question that arises now is, why would there be a need for system copy? There could be numerous reasons. Let's go through some of the prominent ones. SAP system usage has grown and current hardware is not capable to meet organization demands, as there is no room for growth and hardware is already running at max capacity. To meet organization demands, you may want to move the system to a better capacity hardware. Multiple component in one database concept allowed customers to run multiple SAP systems in one database by segregating the data at schema level. For organization-specific reasons, now if you want to come out of MCOD configuration, SAP System Copy is your only choice. For test or training purpose, or even to replicate a production issue in non-production environment, you may be asked to create a copy of the production system. It might be an organization strategy to have one specific OS or database for the enterprise applications. That could be another reason to support the requirement for SAP System Copy. For example, if an organization has decided to have enterprise applications on Windows platforms and currently SAP applications are running on any other operating system, so to comply with organization strategy, you will need to migrate SAP systems. There can be support issues with the current OS, database and hardware. That could also create a requirement for system copy as well. Another main reason could be advancement in technologies, and a requirement to have them in the landscape could pave way for migration project as well. In summary, every organization will have its own set of reasons to perform system copies, whether homogeneous or heterogeneous. Till the time SAP recommendations are followed, there should not be any issues with migration projects. Let's now talk about what can go wrong if system copy is not performed as per recommendations or right tools are not used during system copy. Data loss is the biggest issue that you can expect. If source system is not assessed properly and actions are not taken to correct the inconsistencies, there are chances that objects may be skipped during export, resulting in missing data in target system. There can be performance issues after system copy. They can arise if during export and import, SAP recommendations on specific steps are not followed. If system copies are not performed properly and tested thoroughly during test migrations, there may be unanticipated issues after production migration. Resolution of these issues may require frequent outages, affecting system availability to business and has potential to increase cost of operations. SAP does not support using any third-party tools, other than the ones which are already documented and approved by SAP. For example, using DB-specific procedures. If any non-supported third-party tools are used during migration, and post-migration you run into issues, SAP may either not support the system or may charge you to resolve the issues arising due to usage of such tools. This marks the end of this lesson. In this lesson, we learnt about system copy and its type. We also learnt how SAP differentiates between them. We did look at a few reasons on why clients choose to do system copy and what services SAP offers, and in the end we learnt about what are the prerequisites for SAP system copies and problems you can expect if SAP recommendations are not followed. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. We see you soon in the next lesson.